It's been rumored for a long time that I am an Arsenal fan. It has been rumored for a long time that my defending of Arsenal is because I have a secret. I'm a secret United fan. I only pretended to be a Man United fan for social media purposes. I'm constantly called out and told I'm being exposed. I'm showing that I'm really an Arsenal fan, or at the very least a simp. And I can't really keep a straight face while saying it. I am an Arsenal supporter is the rumor that gets spread a lot. Now, somebody will even clip that sentence out and use it. And what's really interesting for me is that all it ever does is reaffirm my belief that Arsenal are a despised football club by the majority of football fans and by the mainstream media, especially because I actually address the reasons why I've been supportive of many elements of Arsenal over the past 12 to 18 months. And a lot of that is because I believe in slippery slopes and not going down them. And what I find really interesting is this is a selection of comments from my channel in recent days, weeks, months, as an example. And one of my favorites here is actually the one you can see at the top that says, Terry literally can't accept anyone saying anything slightly negative about Arsenal. And what I love the most about that one, my favorite comment of the last few weeks, is that video I criticized Arsenal. I criticized Ramsdale, and I really wasn't like nice about the club. But it was obviously not listened to and digested. It was just, I think he's supporting Arsenal, so I'm going to slag off what he said. Wasn't listened to in any capacity. Terry trotting for Arsenal, the things he does to get a clap. I don't really understand that. This here from a City fan says, do you actually have any proof they hate Arsenal? Maybe this is to do with Arteta not handling pressure, etc. And I do have proof people hate Arsenal based on what I just said a minute ago. Many of the videos, I speak about why I'm on Arsenal's side on a particular argument or why I think it's important to take the stance I have. That is ignored every single time and twisted into, you're just simping. You're just an Arsenal fan. You're just talking nonsense. And none of this is an actual argument. And one thing I've pushed for, listen, we all have fun, we all have banter, and there is a huge space for it. But there comes a time when we've got to start having serious conversations. This here states, this guy, Terry, looks more and more like an Arsenal fan, or he's living vicariously through them. The referees got decisions spot on. Terry, and did Terry expect Arteta, I'm not sure I read this properly, Arteta to behave in such a manner with no consequences? This obviously refers back to recent weeks where Arteta has been charged, and of course the goal with Newcastle. And the crazy thing is, less than a minute into the video was debunked with absolute ease based on previous decisions made. This just demonstrates how they want to keep Arsenal hated, how this is all a Kardashian-esque reality show, and the way in which these managers are being punished under this rule is an absolute dictatorship. It is an absolute abomination as far as I'm concerned. Now, you can laugh and say it serves Arteta right. You can laugh and say it serves Arsenal right. But again, I know what I'll get called out. I'll get called a simp. I'll get told that I'm twerking for Arsenal. It'll be the same dead banter, the same dead challenges. This isn't about me defending Arsenal. It's about me defending a position that one day will impact me and my club, Manchester United, me and my manager one day. It's about not going down a slippery slope and backing a process that damages a rival that one day will damage you. That is what this has always been about for me from day one. And I've said that from my original videos last year around when I saw Arsenal really improve and I said they scare me. From that point until now, the amount of hate I've seen Arsenal get, the amount of BS that's been thrown at me, by the way, none of it bothers me on a personal level. I just wanted to talk about it. because I think it's really interesting. All it does is further my belief that what I'm saying is true, because this has never been about defending Arsenal per se. It's about standing by the principles of which I hold. And everyone does content for different reasons. For some people, it's just all about having banter, and they'll throw lots of stones while standing in a big glass house. And that's absolutely fine. But that isn't what I do. Doesn't mean I don't change my mind. It doesn't mean I get everything right. It doesn't mean I know more about football than the next person. And I've never proclaimed to be that individual. But this nonsense that I'm an Arsenal fan because I think Arteta's right to complain about VAR is nonsense. Because when I look at some more of these comments here, Terry this comes from a guy who says Terry waffling again. Arteta and Arsenal need to be punished for calling out the refereeing. When I sided with Liverpool, when I sided with Wolverhampton Wanderers, I wasn't called a secret Liverpool fan. I wasn't called a secret Wolves fan. I wasn't called a traitor to Manchester United on the opening day of the season when I said they were robbed of a penalty in the last minute. I was commended for speaking the truth. When I called out on a number of occasions in the last year Chelsea's robberies, the hair pull by Cucurella, the blatant handball against West Ham last season, I was commended. Wow, it's so unbiased. I love seeing this. When at times over the last 5 to 6, 7 years, I've stated that City are the best team in the world. When I've stated that Liverpool are the best team in the world, I've been commended for my lack of bias to the two teams I dislike the most. But whenever I turn around and say something that's truthful about Arsenal, you're an Arsenal fan. You're a simp. The only other club that it's the same as is when I ever say anything good about Manchester United. And I kind of understand that. I am a Man United fan. But it's honestly, genuinely, it is hilarious to me, the amount of people that still think it's an argument. Now, listen, if you want to watch the Terrace and that's what you want to comment, go for it. Be my guest. I love it. But let's have some proper debates and let's have some proper arguments. And the reason I'm doing this video, if you've lasted this long, is because we're going to be reintroducing soon more of our phone-in shows. We like to cycle. Barring watch-alongs, we like to cycle out our content. So there'll be things we do for a year or two, then we'll drop for a while, bring back, keep some fresh, keep some, not innovative, but keep some fresh and keep some current. And we're going to be reintroducing more call-in shows. So viewers that disagree with things I say, you're going to get the chance to speak. Most other channels don't do it. A few have launched it actually recently, which is really good. But we're going to be bringing them back. First channel to ever do them. It's an original thing for the Terrace, and it's coming back to you soon. So if you do want to challenge me, if you do think I say too many nice things about Arsenal, let me know. If you really think I'm an Arsenal fan, listen, anyone who knew me growing up, like they'll know exactly who I supported, where, what, and why. I have no genuine fear over any of this because I can't ever be exposed as an Arsenal fan because I've never been one. But for me, it's just one of these things. It proves how much Arsenal are hated. It proves the fear they have in Arsenal getting back to the top. And it demonstrates that typically when people just throw insults at you or they throw out dead banter, it's because they know what you are saying is correct. And I go back to what I said in that clip earlier, and I want to end on saying this. You could banter all you want when a team gets a dodgy decision that goes their way. Have fun with it. That's your choice. That's your preference. I've got no personal issue with it. But what I will say is that you damage football when it's a serious talking point. And I don't believe in the slippery slope approach. If we turn around and go, yeah, look, I think Arsenal did get hard done by, but yeah, Arteta's being done. Let's stand with the refs on this. You're only guaranteeing that at some point in the future, you are hurt by them as well. It's what's going to happen. And you see it in life, in very public, very political, and very personal settings. And you need to be very careful about the precedent that you set. And I only talk about football on social media. I do not get involved typically with anything else. But the standard is identical here. In my personal opinion, whether it's City being robbed this weekend, United being robbed, it needs to be focused upon. You shouldn't ignore a team that's played badly. You shouldn't ignore the manager if he makes bad substitutions. You shouldn't ignore a team if they're aggressing. You shouldn't ignore bad owners and just focus on the VAR. But there has to, equally, you can't just ignore it. If only the team that's run the best, that's winning trophies, is allowed to complain about poor refereeing, you're never going to get the overall standard up. I think we are big enough, old enough, and grown up enough to be able to tackle more than one subject at the same time. Surely, I know the football terrace community is. I know the people that watch and subscribe here are. And I'm sure every other community out there across social media has the brain capacity, the functionality of mind to be able to go, right, I'm going to criticize my starting lineup today. I'm going to criticize the performance of player A. I hated the substitutions my manager made. Plus, I want to talk about these refereeing decisions because they're inconsistent and wrong and hurting the game. Surely we have the ability to articulate, to discuss, to debate 2 or 3 subjects at once that can all live in the same environment. They do not need to be, they can be mutually exclusive and equally as potent. I want to get your views. I want to get your opinions on all this, people. Hit the like and the share button if you've not done so already. And we'll see you all again soon.